May 27th, 2024. The digital ether thrummed with a low, insidious hum, a sound only perceptible to those deep within the clandestine corridors of the internet. It was 3:00 a.m. on the East Coast. But in the timeless realm of the dark web, the clock meant nothing. A new post blazed across the infamous Exploit forum. Its stark white text on a black background cutting through the digital murk like a predator's eye. The username, Spider-Man Data. A fresh face, yet its audacity was seasoned, chillingly confident. The message, short and brutal, Ticketmaster data for sale, 560 million users. Across the globe, in a nondescript apartment bathed only by the cool blue glow of 3 monitors, a solitary figure leaned forward, his fingers, stained faintly with the residue of countless energy drinks, hovered over the keyboard. A half-eaten bag of chips lay beside a cold, forgotten coffee cup. The stale aroma, a constant companion in his digital bunker. He was watching, waiting, for the first ripple, and it came. Within minutes, the forum exploded. Screenshots attached to Spider-Man Data's post flashed, revealing rows upon rows of raw, unadulterated terror names, addresses, emails, phone numbers, even partial credit card details. Each line a life laid bare. It was a digital bloodbath. The world outside remained asleep, oblivious. But here, in this shadowy corner, a declaration had been made. This wasn't just another data leak. It was a seismic shift, a direct assault on the very foundation of trust in the cloud, a chilling whisper of a new vulnerability. The air in the room felt heavy, charged with the weight of stolen secrets. A single bead of sweat tracked a cold path down the watcher's temple. His heart hammered against his ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the impending dawn. How could so much data from such a massive target simply vanish? The question hung heavy. A silent scream across the global network, echoing the terrifying truth. The cloud, once thought impenetrable, had been breached, and the world was about to wake up to a nightmare. Before the digital apocalypse, there was Snowflake Inc., a titan in the nascent world of cloud data warehousing. Snowflake had ascended with the promise of an unbreachable fortress. Businesses, from nascent startups to venerable Fortune 500 companies, entrusted their most precious cargo, their customers' very identities, their financial histories, their deepest secrets, to Snowflake's seemingly impenetrable embrace. Its reputation was built on layers of cutting-edge technology, its security posture lauded as robust, a digital sanctuary in a chaotic online world. It was a haven until it wasn't. But every fortress has a shadow. And in the digital realm, shadows often coalesce into figures driven by darker motives. Enter UNC 5537, a shadowy collective known by many names. Scattered Spider, Shiny Hunters, a group whose digital fingerprints were already smudged across some of the most audacious cyber heists of recent memory. At the heart of this web were 2 distinct personalities, bound by a shared avarice and a craving for notoriety. First, there was John Aaron Binns, known in the dark corners as IR Dev or Intel Secrets. Binns was no novice. His name echoed through the forums, synonymous with the notorious T-Mobile breach of 2021. He was a veteran of the digital underworld, driven by a blend of technical mastery and an almost artistic appreciation for the chaos he could unleash. For Binns, each breach wasn't just a payday, it was a testament to his intellect, a trophy he could mount on the wall of his digital ego. He reveled in the power, the control, the visceral thrill of watching giants tremble. His ambition wasn't merely financial, it was a hungry beast, constantly seeking the next bigger challenge, the next corporate behemoth to bring to its knees. Then, there was Connor Riley Muka, who hid behind handles like Waifu, Yudisha, and Eliel 8, allegedly a 26-year-old software engineer from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. Muka presented a perplexing contrast. Here was a mind ostensibly trained for creation, for building the very systems his group sought to dismantle. What twisted path led him from the structured world of legitimate tech to the anarchic pursuit of cybercrime? Was it the intoxicating thrill of forbidden knowledge? The rush of navigating digital labyrinths unseen and unheard? Perhaps a simmering disillusionment with the corporate grind? A desire for instant wealth that legitimate channels couldn't offer quickly enough? Or simply a deep-seated desire to prove his superiority? To show the world that the very systems he helped create could be undone by his ingenuity. His alleged background as a software engineer provides a compelling, almost tragic, counterpoint to his criminal activities, hinting at a potential fall from grace. Or perhaps a latent darkness finally unleashed. Adding another layer of intrigue was the enigmatic Reddington, an unnamed intermediary, a digital go-between, facilitating communications and transactions. This figure suggested a level of organization, a professional sheen to their criminal enterprise that elevated it beyond mere opportunistic hacking. Together, this trio, the veteran strategist, the disillusioned prodigy, and the shadowy facilitator, formed a formidable force. Their motivation was stark, unyielding, and terrifyingly simple, pure, unadulterated greed. They were not driven by ideology or political statements, but by the cold, hard currency of stolen data, monetized through extortion and sold on the dark web. Each transaction a nail in the coffin of corporate trust. They saw not individuals, but zeros and ones, ripe for the taking. The stage was set, the players in position, but the true Achilles heel wasn't in Snowflake's core platform, a fortress designed to withstand digital sieges, but in the lax security posture of its own customers. Imagine a vault with impregnable walls, but whose hundreds of keys are scattered, untended, in easily accessible places. This was the tragic reality. The hackers weren't brute-forcing Snowflake's system, they were simply walking through unlocked doors, using credentials that were old, often weak, and critically, unprotected by multi-factor authentication, or MFA. That simple, extra layer of security could have been the firewall, the bouncer at the digital club that turned them away. But for many, it was an inconvenience, ignored, a small slip that would unravel into a catastrophic avalanche. The origin of these compromised credentials was insidious. A slow-burning infection, stretching back years. It began with a vast, indiscriminate campaign of infostealer malware. These digital parasites, Vidar, Rise Pro, Redline, Raccoon Stealer, Llama, Mate Stealer were like silent hunters, infiltrating personal devices, a contractor's laptop used for both work and late-night gaming, an employee's home PC downloading pirated software. They lay dormant, gathering up usernames and passwords, sometimes dating back to November 2020, waiting in the digital shadows for their moment. They were the dust motes on a forgotten shelf, slowly accumulating until a breath of wind or a hacker's script brought them to life. Snowflake's architecture, while secure at its heart, unwittingly created a hub-and-spoke vulnerability. Think of Snowflake as a central, highly secure bank vault. The hub, thousands of companies. The spokes, connected directly to this vault to deposit and retrieve their data. If a spoke's access card was stolen, even an old access card, forgotten one, it provided a direct, unmonitored pathway into the central hub, bypassing all the hub's internal defenses. The brilliance of Snowflake became its customer's tragic flaw. The invisible invasion began subtly, a mere whisper in the digital wind. Mandiant, later brought in to untangle the mess, identified the earliest evidence of unauthorized access as mid-April 2024. The hackers were patient, methodical. Their initial probes were like fingers lightly testing a lock, seeking purchase. On April 14, 2024, they found their first major entry point, Advanced Auto Parts Snowflake environment. For a staggering 40 days, they maintained persistent, undetected access, a silent ghost in the machine, mapping out the terrain, understanding its vulnerabilities. Between April 14 and April 25, 2024, AT&T's Snowflake environment was breached. Imagine a massive, silent siphoning, not of cache, but of raw data, call and text records, flowing like a dark river from the company's secure cloud into the hackers' waiting digital reservoirs. By late April, Snowflake itself began detecting anomalous activity, strange echoes in its vast digital halls. Yet, in those initial, critical moments, the full scope of the disaster was still obscured, downplayed. The dark cloud was forming, but no one yet realized the storm it would unleash. The digital world held its breath, unknowingly, on the precipice. The calm before the storm was over. Once inside the Snowflake environments, the hackers didn't fumble in the dark. They had a weapon, a custom reconnaissance utility, chillingly named Rapeflake by its creators. Mandiant would later codename it Frostbite, was their digital skeleton key. This wasn't some blunt instrument. It was a surgical tool. With it, they systematically ran SQL queries, extracting granular details, user lists, role assignments, IP addresses, active session IDs, even the organization names. It was like a digital master key, not just opening doors, but revealing the entire blueprint of the mansion. The exhilaration of discovery, the intoxicating rush of access, must have pulsed through their veins as they uncovered the sheer magnitude of data at their fingertips. Then came the exfiltration. This was no smash and grab. This was a systematic, calculated emptying of digital coffers, one after another, each victim a new triumph for their insatiable greed. Santander Bank. May 10, 2024 ***. The first major revelation, though not public at first, from a third-party database. The hackers extracted records impacting 30 million customers and employees, names, social security numbers, bank account information for direct deposits, a goldmine of identity. The quiet horror for Santander's security team, learning of the breach, must have been suffocating. The air in their war room, thick with dread, as they realized the depth of the violation. A frantic race against time began. To understand, to contain, to prevent a greater disaster. Asterisk, asterisk, Ticketmaster, divided by Live Nation. May 27, 2024 asterisk, asterisk. The public detonation, 560 million customer records. Names, contact details, digital event tickets, and partial credit card details spilled onto the dark web like a toxic waste dump. Imagine the collective gasp of millions of users, seeing their private lives commodified, their trust betrayed. The panic, the anger, the cold realization of vulnerability. Live Nation's official confirmation on May 31st barely scratched the surface of the fear this leak engendered. Asterisk, asterisk at and T. April 14 to 25. 2024 asterisk, asterisk. A silent, massive hemorrhage. Over 50 billion call and text records for virtually all of its 109 to 110 million wireless customers. This wasn't just PII. It was a detailed tapestry of human connection, revealing who called whom, when, and for how long. The intimate details of millions of lives laid bare for sale. AT&T knew by April 19th, but the disclosure was delayed until July 12th, adding a layer of frustration and concern for customers who were unknowingly compromised for months. Asterisk, asterisk, Advance Auto Parts, April 14, May 24, 2024. Astagering 2. 3 million to 380 million customer profiles compromised. Names, SSNs, driver's license details, employment candidate information, a complete identity theft kit for millions. The implications for fraud were immense. A future dark cloud hanging over countless individuals. Asterisk, asterisk. Neiman Marcus, April 14, May 24. 2024 asterisk, asterisk. Nearly 65,000 high net worth customers had their names, contact details, birth dates, and gift card numbers stolen. For these luxury consumers, the breach wasn't just a violation, it was an affront, a chilling reminder that even their carefully curated privacy could be shattered. The final, brazen act of this digital heist was extortion. The hackers didn't just steal, they demanded ransom. From $300,000 to a staggering $5 million. Advertised openly on cybercrime forums or delivered as direct, chilling demands to affected organizations. The audacity was breathtaking, a testament to their belief in impunity. Each ransom note was a taunt, a digital flag planted on the digital graves of corporate security. The adrenaline fueled their arrogance, the increasing pile of illicit gains solidifying their belief that they were untouchable. The digital smoke still billowed, but the hunt had begun. Mandiant. Google Cloud's elite incident response team was hot on the trail. In May 2024, they officially began tracking the activity under the codename UNC 5537. Their initial findings were crucial. It wasn't a flaw in Snowflake's core architecture, but compromised customer credentials. It was a vindication for Snowflake, but a damning indictment of hundreds of its clients. Snowflake, initially defensive, emphasizing their platform's integrity, soon faced a torrent of criticism. The public outcry, amplified by the sheer scale of the Ticketmaster breach, forced their hand. By June 2024, they announced a sweeping change: mandatory advanced security controls, including MFA, for all privileged accounts, a day late and millions of records short. Perhaps, but a critical step forward nonetheless. Meanwhile, the shadowy figures of UNC 5537 found themselves in the crosshairs of a global investigation. Law enforcement across continents joined the digital cat-and-mouse game. The pursuit was relentless, tracing digital breadcrumbs across encrypted networks and dark corners of the internet. Then, the hammer fell. In May 2024, in Turkey, John Aaron Binz, the notorious IR dev, was detained. The mastermind, once untouchable in his digital fortress, was now a prisoner, stripped of his anonymity. One can only imagine the cold dread that must have washed over him. The sudden, visceral realization that his reign was over, the walls of his digital empire crumbling around him. The smug satisfaction, the ego he had built on the suffering of corporations, was replaced by the stark reality of capture. Months later, on October 30, 2024, in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, Connor Riley Muka, the alleged software engineer turned cybercriminal, was arrested. For Muka, the brilliant mind that once navigated complex code for creation, the arrest must have been a crushing blow. The quiet streets of his hometown, a stark contrast to the chaotic digital battlefields he had commanded, now bore witness to his public downfall. The thrill of the hack, the allure of quick wealth, evaporated in the blinding flash of police lights. In November 2024, the U.S. Department of Justice unsealed a 20-count indictment against Muka and Binz. The charges were severe conspiracy, computer fraud, extortion, and aggravated identity theft. The document laid bare their meticulously planned crimes, detailing how they had extorted at least 36 Bitcoin, then valued at approximately $2.5 million from at least 3 victims. The numbers were stark, the legal ramifications immense. The digital echoes of their crime would reverberate through courtrooms, forever cementing their place in the annals of cybercrime. The Snowflake megabreach wasn't just another chapter in the endless saga of cybercrime. It was a watershed moment, a stark, chilling revelation of our collective digital vulnerability.